Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me on this video. So this is a video where I was kind of wondering if I was wanting to come back to YouTube to share these things, the things that I'm exploring, that I'm experiencing, that I'm playing with. And yeah, for a while now I have been feeling the desire to, yes, do it, yes, do it, yes, go. So the urge, inspiration, the passion has been building up, and here we are. So I'm starting a new series now because it's been a couple of years since I last shared on a consistent basis. So I'm starting a new series now. I'm calling it Energy Consciousness Explorations, Inspirations, and Practices. So it's more of a conversational type of sharing. Well, I'll be sharing what I'm experiencing, what I'm exploring, insights perhaps that I'm having, all related to energy consciousness, because that's what I work with. That's my passion, is to figure out how we work at the mental level, at the emotional level, at the physical level, and at all the subtle body levels of our being, so that we can actually know our own energy anatomy and know how to work with our energy anatomy to be who we came here to be, and to live, explore, create, enjoy what we came here to explore and experience. So this is a new series, and on this particular video I want to share something that I'm really passionate about, and that's an open and ongoing question for me. How do you protect, quote unquote, your energy? So that's what we'll be talking about today. But before that, if it's the first time that we're meeting, hi, my name is Isabel Martins. I'm with the website HealthandNaturalLife.com. That's where I share my work as well. And as I shared before, my passion, it's all things energy consciousness. Understand how we work, our own energy anatomy, and how to work with all those levels of our being to fully express ourselves, who we came here to be, and what we came here to enjoy. And that's it. That's my passion. That's what I share in my work, and that's what I love to share and want to share again here on this YouTube channel. So today, I was feeling into this week if I wanted to do this live broadcast or not, because I've been feeling a little bit off. There's been a lot of processing going on physically, emotionally, energetically, of things from the past, but I've been getting nudges from different people, different sources, that keep saying, share your gifts, share your energy, what you do is appreciated. Such beautiful, loving messages. That's okay. I was kind of leaning towards doing it, but yesterday was a rough day, and I'll share this up front. If you think that people who share about energy and consciousness and healing and integration on YouTube, that they have it all together, yeah, we all are human here, so we all have our days, our times, just a matter of having tools as well and knowing how to use them to move through the ups and downs. So yesterday I was in a kind of a more funky mood, and in that funk, I completely forgot about the tools that I have in order to get myself into a more stable place. So come at the end of the day, after doing the weekly session on the Empower Love group, where I was reminded to do my own tools, what I share, so that got me into a much more stable and coherent place. I decided after the session to watch something that would feel enlivening to me. So I choose to watch Juan Pablo Barajona's video. He has a huge body of work, teacher that I really appreciate. He calls it quantum flow. So Juan Pablo Barajona, if you want to look him up. And he has a course on Mind Valley that's called Ultra Presence. So I decided this is what's going to feel nourishing and enlivening for me, so let me watch it. And in that particular video of the course, he was talking about energy radiance, so cultivating our radiance. And as he was exploring and explaining us being in a mode where we are connected to our core and radiating our energy out, he was reminding me of the things that I had been taking notes for myself for a very long time, because of feeling burnt out and energetically, what's the word, distorted because of the work, especially that I do. So at some point in the video, he was sharing that in his own work, which is similar, it's a facilitation, working with other people to help them uncover where they themselves are and unblock, not unblocking, where they are twisting their energy and blocking their own energy flow through beliefs, through energetic patterns, through habits, whatever the case might be. He was sharing that he would facilitate amazing healing experiences for hundreds of people, sometimes even thousands of people, if he was in a larger group event, and they would have amazing results, and he would feel amazing and blissful throughout the event. And after the event ended, he would crash, completely crash. A couple of days in bed, would not be able to even move from bed. Not sick, not anything, just would not have the energy and would feel his energy energetically dense, so tangled with, distorted. And that almost brought tears to my eyes, because that reminded me of my own really experience, and one of the primary reasons why I stopped doing YouTube videos for a couple of years is because I had that experience to a very large degree. It hit my health. So I had health issues or projects, like they call them in Jinshin Jitsu. I had health issues that took me a very, very long time to start finding my bearings from. And I knew it at the time, and it's continued to be a lesson that I continue to pay for, because I continue to have to learn it time and again, that I cannot interact with other people's energies at the direct level that my work, as it was done before, requires to, without having a really deep presence and ability to safeguard my energy. And this, I wrote protect in quotes, because my idea of protection has changed over the years. If you look through my YouTube videos, you'll find one that's a technique from Jeffrey Allen that talks about the protection rules. So that's a lovely exercise that we can do to have a sense of our energy field membrane and boundaries, and start adjusting when we feel that we are in environments that are not coherent, so are not conducive to our own well-being. So that's a lovely exercise. But even at that time, how I felt and how I saw protection was as a shield almost, that kept my energy here and safe, and your energy was there, the world outside. So there would be this type of container that would keep my energy safe. What I've learned over the years is that, first, that will never work, not for our own well-being, because if we actually succeed in make that barrier, we will wither, because our energy systems are made to communicate with everything in our environment. So we're constantly sending information and receiving information. And at the same time, if we don't have an energetic membrane around us that is discerning, or that an energetic membrane that's ripped or that has holes, or not there at all, sometimes we can let in everything and anything that's around us, and we start to feel that enter into our systems and enter into our body and create deeper and deeper levels of incoherence. So that's what I experienced. That's what led to some pretty intense health issues that, again, a couple of years to recover from them, and that made me realize and question, do I really even want to do this type of work? So it made me question my entire business, made me reframe and actually organize the way that I do things and try to learn as best I can how to safeguard my energy. So here, what I want to share is one of the distinctions that I made in that time, and it's a distinction that Juan Pablo shared yesterday, and that's what sparked again that passion to come here and share it with you. And it's the distinction between being in a vacuum mode, so open to everything and bringing in energy from the outside, regardless of what quality of energy it is, and radiating mode, so where we are ourselves, we are connected to our core and we're radiating our energy out. So these two modes are very, very different. And these, to me, at least at this point in time, to the best of my conscious awareness, are key to keep ourselves, quote unquote, protected in wherever we are, in whatever we are doing. It's to, instead of being that vacuum mode, to be in a radiating mode from our core all the way out. This is something that I shared before as well on the channel. But again, it's a lesson that I have to keep on learning for myself and paying for it. So, and the last drop on that, paying for it, is a new body of knowledge that I'm very passionate about. It's called Biogeometry. So I finished my foundations training in Biogeometry, which is a new science, really, an energetic science that helps us connect, measure energy qualities in spaces, in people, and helps us harmonize, gives us the tools to help harmonize the energy in those spaces, the energy of the people, even the energies of our incoherent information devices, so electromagnetic fields, earth lines, all the stressors that we have in our environment and within ourselves. Biogeometry offers really powerful principles and tools to help us harmonize those incoherent signals. So this is something I'm really passionate about, and I'll be sharing more here as well. But in the foundations training, one of the things that we have to do is to measure in our own spaces, in our own rooms, bedrooms specifically, measure if we have any geopathic stress lines. So earth lines that move vertically from the earth up, and they propagate stress wherever there might be friction in the earth, and that friction, the stress, is propagated up, and everything that's in that vertical space receives that incoherent energy. And if connecting with human beings and their incoherence open me to this amount of incoherent energy, when you are tuning into, or better, when I'm tuning into, any of us, tuning into an energy line, earth energy line, that has that stress, we're opening to this. And I remember my experience with this. So in doing the measurements, tuning into the energy of my bedroom, we have specific tools to tune in, and I was a little scared going in because I've had the experience of burnout already, so I knew that I could be in for a little bit of trouble, but I took care of all the precautions that I had around me that Biogeometry as well gives us, and I went more tentatively, trying to keep myself safe at the same time that I was measuring the energy. And I must have been about half an hour into measuring things, breathing deeply, loudly, letting the energy continue to flow through me. But after about probably half an hour, I started to notice I'm not thinking straight. There was a sort of a fogginess, and that's what caused me to say, okay, I'm going to stop now a little bit, feeling out of sorts here. So let me pause, let me go do the other things that will bring me up to a more coherent state, so tuning into coherent energy specifically, and then I'll get back to this. No, there was no getting back to that after the half an hour. So I felt dehydrated, I felt tired. I could see dark energy, dark rings underneath my eyes. I was pale. Yes, it was quite a learning experience, let's put it like that. And I was out in terms of mental clarity and even energetic clarity for 3 to 4 days after that, even using all the tools that I know how to use. For about 3 to 4 days, I could still feel my thinking was like the broadband had gone from this level to this level, and my energy as well was tuned into a much dialed down level of energy as well as level of consciousness. So if we can imagine that, okay, there's a level of consciousness that has a certain level of simplicity to it, not very intricate, let's say like an amoeba, not wanting to diss on amoebas, but then you have something more consciously elaborate like a plant, then something more consciously elaborate like an animal, like a human. Let's just imagine that that's a scale. I felt that my own consciousness of it had dialed down somehow, and that experience actually scared me. Half an hour, it was instant burnout, almost 4 days. My energy was down. I could feel the effects of dehydration, inflammation in my body. So that brought, again, the point back home. If I don't know what I'm doing in terms of keeping my energy safe, I have no business in interacting with powerful energy fields like this. So although most of us probably won't have to deal with this type of tuning into this amount of energy, and especially incoherent in particular energy on a regular basis, the truth is that more and more our spaces are becoming incoherent again because of the electricity, because of the Wi-Fi that we have around, because of everything that's electromagnetic in nature, and because of the stress lines from the earth that are increasing in their intensity, again because of our own electromagnetic pollution. So we are more and more being asked to know how to take care of our energy and to keep our energy protected, meaning strong, radiant, and vibrant. And coming to a few suggestions on how we can actually do that. The key here is to think in terms of presence, coherence, and the direction of energy flow. So the direction of energy flow meaning, are we in a vacuum mode or are we in a radiating mode? For the reasons that I explained before, when we're in a vacuum mode, anything that's around us will come in. It's almost like someone that's starving. They won't really just eat when they find an organic, beautiful meal. Whatever is put in front of them, they will eat. So when we are in that vacuum mode, it's like that. It's almost like an energy starvation. And when we are stressed, if there is trauma in our life that isn't yet addressed, isn't yet integrated, when we feel depleted, when we feel tired, it's natural for us to go into this type of, let me try to receive energy from the outside mode. And receiving is part of our natural energy dynamics. But from these states, because we are so depleted in a way internally, it's like the starvation. It's anything, bring it in. And it creates an energetic habit in our fields that can be problematic, because if we're not in a fully beautiful, supportive environment, what we'll be taking in will be like sometimes junk food, and it has its consequences, and then we'll have to clear it, and yeah, we'll use more energy than necessarily we get from the interaction. So presence, coherence, and noticing our energy flow. Let's start then with tools for presence. Something that's probably the most simple and most powerful tool is to center ourselves in our core line. So if you're here for a measure of time, you've probably heard me talk about our core line, center of our body. It's a line that connects us from our core star, so the center of our being. Let's imagine that in all of creation there's a focus point where we start, and from that focus point there's a line of energy that's created that connects through all the levels of our energetic anatomy, all the levels of our light body, all the levels of our being. And it's that center point and that line that are our true energy source and our true center, and connect us to, let's call it the heavens, connect us above to the sources of energy that we have from the sun, from the cosmos, and connects us down to the center of the earth, because we are born through the earth, through this planet. So centering in this connection, which is as well what grounding is, it's centering in this core line and being aware of the connection both to the earth as well as to the sun, or to the heavens as they call it in Taoism. This is grounding, is to be present in our core, aware of the connection up and down. So how can we do this in a practical term? You can bring your attention to anywhere in the center of your body. So this line isn't a line that runs on the surface. It goes straight through the center of the body. So you can see if you can sense something inside your body of this line, especially if you've practiced being aware of dantians or hara line. You might be familiar already with this, but if it feels a little hazy inside, we can bring awareness to the top of our head and to our perineum, so the entrance exit points on both ends. So entrance and exit through the top of the head, entrance and exit through the perineum, as well as feet and hands as well. They're part of our core line. Making it practical. If you want to practice this now, my suggestion for presence and for centering could be that bringing awareness to the top of the head, bringing awareness to the perineum, and see if you can connect the 2 points with a line of energy in between those points, connecting them. And in those points, you can start to feel that energy line starting to expand further up and starting to expand further down. You don't need to push it, it's already there. It's just a matter of us being aware of it, so that we can almost fall back into that awareness when we're in that lost in outer reality mode. So awareness, top of the head, awareness to the perineum, and centered in the center of our body. And we can also start to feel the pulsations that come from our core. So some people, some traditions will bring our awareness to the heart chakra here, because it's the heart that we feel the pulsations more strongly. You can do that. So start to feel pulsation of your heart, because that is a reflection already of the rhythm of our core star pulsating. Or you can feel the energy coming from above and from below, pulsating there at the heart chakra and moving in and out, in and out. So it's like your one big pulsation. This is our life pulse. So many traditions talk about our life pulse. Jin Shin Jitsu, Taoism, many martial traditions talk about it as well. So there is pulsation that when we tune in to the center of our body, or when we tune into even these 2 points of the exit of our core line, we might start to feel that pulsation. And it isn't our heartbeat. Our heartbeat is already a reflection of that pulsation. It's a usually calmer pulsation, slower pulsation that we feel running through our entire being. It's a beautiful thing for us to tune into, and very, very soothing and healing to start feeling. And if you're interested in that, we can talk about it, but I would suggest tuning into Jin Chin Jitsu. because that is one of the key practices in that Japanese harmonizing art. So for presence and for grounding, that is one of the most powerful and simple things that we can do, is to be tuned in to our center, to our core line, feel the pulsations all the way coming to our heart chakra or slightly lower to a place that's our core star. And if you're not familiar with the core star, it's slightly below the solar plexus area, at least in Barbara Brennan's work. So any of these points that feel comfortable for you, notice if you start feeling that pulsation deep within your body. And from there, you'll start feeling as well a sort of relaxation. There might be yawning, there might be sighing, there might be tearing, because this is the core of our being. This is the most harmonious and coherent and true and clear energy broadcast that we have before it starts going through all the other levels of distortion. So when we are tuned into this level of our being, we are tuned to our truth, to our clear energetic signal. And if you're an empath, this is especially important and useful, really, almost like a life skill to tune into, because so much of other people's energy can start to seep in and we start feeling off without even realizing that it isn't really our own energy. We're just tuning into the environment and tuning into other people. So this one practice, tuning into our core, tuning into our pulsation from our center, really a lifesaver in many, many ways. That's presence and grounding, because this is grounding. Then for coherence, there are many things that we can do. This is already a promoter of coherence. You can also do coherence breathing when you're breathing in and out for equal lengths of time and without pauses. So it could look like a 4-count in breath, not pausing, and a 4-count exhale, and with a focus as well in your heart chakra or in your pulsation. This will help you get into a purring coherent state even faster. So that's one tool that we can use for coherence. Of course, another tool would be to notice where do we have emotions that we're not allowing ourselves to feel. They are creating incoherence in our field. So energy clearing, energy integration is a huge part of bringing more coherence into our field, because we are looking at the places where there is that incoherence, so something is creating that static, and we are allowing that energy to be felt, to be acknowledged, to be integrated, and to be part of our life force again. Then we have as well, especially if we're feeling tired and if we're feeling drained, low on energy, because that can create the vacuum, direction of energy, breath. I was one of these days this week. I was driving and I was in the highway, and it's just a little car. I have a Smart 42, so it's a little car. It has, let's call it a limited amount of power, and I was driving, just minding my own business, and I could see that the person behind me was starting to feel a little impatient, and I had to shift gears to a gear below because it was highway and moving up. Little car, not that much power. I had to shift gears, so it kind of slowed a little bit before it picked up. And the person behind me probably wasn't like, I'm not taking this anymore. And for the woman, she passed me. And I was at that point thinking, yeah, well, it is what it is. In this car, I don't have more power available. But because I know that the things that I have around me are a reflection of my own energy states, I was thinking, yeah, what does this say about me? I feel that I don't have more power available to me. Yeah, well, that's true. And that might actually be one of the reasons why I've noticed lately that I have a really strong emphasis and focus toward food, eating. I need to eat, I need energy, I need to eat, energy, eat. So that connection seems to be really deeply ingrained, and again, humans, so that there is an animal nature to us. And the food is a source of energy besides being a source of pleasure and comfort. So, but that came to my mind like, that might actually be one of the reasons why I felt that this is starting to get imbalanced, really. The amount of time that I've focused on food doesn't make sense. It's just taking up a lot of my energy. And that clicked as well. That, okay, food as a source of energy is not the most cost effective, so to speak, because for us to get energy from our food, we have to use energy to digest it. So we already need to have a good energetic balance in our system to have the fire to digest food. And as I was driving, it came up as well as, okay, so what would be a much more cost-effective way to energize? Breath. Clear as day that it became at that point. So, okay, breath is actually the most cost-effective in many ways. So it's free, and it does not take any amount of energy almost to increase our energy levels, because we are breathing. If we're alive, we're still breathing. We're just not breathing optimally. And just increasing a little bit and knowing a few exercises, breath exercises, can increase our energy levels really, really impressively and really, really fast without really using up hardly any energy to create that building up of life force in us. So a couple of energizing breaths that we can do. Any breath that goes deep into the belly and that is relaxed, that is an energizing breath in itself, because it helps relieve stress. If we want to actually pump up our energy levels, I think that one of the most effective ways that we can do this is with an energy breath that's called Ujjayi, in which we kind of constrict a little bit the throat and we feel our breath rasping through the top of our palate and the back of our throat as we breathe. So it becomes like an audible breath that we can sense. So we feel it rasping against the palate and the back of our throat, and we also can hear it. It's not loud, but we can hear it. So if I were to do it now, it will sound something like this. I don't know if it picks it up, but let's see. So it's what some people call the Darth Vader breath, because it kind of sounds like that. We're slightly constricting the throat and we feel the breath rasping against our upper palate and back of our throat. So Ujjayi breath. It's a U-J-J-I-Y-E, not E, I breath. This breath, especially when we start doing the breath and we bring our attention to all of our chakras one by one, it's a total body energizer. This is one of the exercises that Barbara Brennan shares, and she is a master of all things energy work. And I have a lot of respect and appreciation for the fact that she actually shares these things as well. So Ujjayi breath with our focus on the root chakra, feeling the energy go all the way to the root chakra. A few breaths to start with. I would start with perhaps 3 or 4 breaths of this kind in the root chakra, and then move to the sacral chakra, and then move to the solar plexus, moving on up, because it is a very active type of breathing, and we can start feeling a little spacey when we do it. So it's important as we do this breath as well to be in our core and to feel our feet on the floor press against our feet as well, so we can feel grounded while we're energizing as well, so we don't get lifted out into space. So that is one powerful way to energize our entire field. And when we're energized, we're not in starvation mode, so we start very naturally radiating out. Another thing that can help with the vacuum versus radiating mode is to help our nervous system feel safe. And for that, I'm going to suggest the video that I shared last week on the embodiment of appreciation, because especially when we bring a smile to our eyes, we are giving a really strong message to our energy system, to our nervous system, because the eyes are the direct outer extension of the nervous system. When the eyes smile, it sends that message through our entire nervous system. Okay, all is good, I'm safe. Very, very powerful practice. As simple as it might seem, very powerful to help relax, to help us feel safe, and to help create that space of I'm in my own energy and I can start being this radiating mode instead of being on the lookout, scanning for problems, for sources of danger outside, because this looking for sources of danger is a taking in of information from all points, with the added whammy that we're looking for danger. So we're getting into resonance with the incoherent things in our environment. So the practice, eye smiling, will help reverse that perhaps energetic pattern, because it can come from trauma, it can come from long periods of stress, and it will help us start feeling safe, feeling more centered, more grounded, more present in our bodies, and more again in this radiating mode. Another thing that I feel is useful is Donna Eden's exercise. She calls it the Celtic weave, and I'm going to suggest that you look it up on YouTube. I'm not going to demonstrate it here now, but it is an energizing type of exercise in itself, and it's an exercise that helps weave all the layers of our energetic field, because sometimes we are, especially empathic people, hello, you're here, so count yourself as one. We can have a very loose energy field sometimes, so we might be detached in some places. We might have that beautiful intention to want to connect with other people, to want to help other people, and that starts creating a sort of a looseness in our energy fields that make them much more easily swayed to outside influences, and it can also create almost pockets of emptiness in our own fields and disconnection and incoherence. So the Celtic weave energy exercise from Donna Eden helps to connect and weave again all the way to the core of our body, all the layers of our energy system. So all of those, that's a lot of suggestions. Recapping. So we can, when we find ourselves, or if this is something that you feel that you do as well, that you're in taking in mode, remember that it is a direction of energy, and it can come from trauma, it can come from an energetic pattern, it can come from you feeling depleted. So different things, different causes can have different strategies to go about it. The ones that I feel are key and usually applicable to most people are being present, again, present in our core line, feeling the core line above and below, so feeling the pulsations in between these 2 points, top of the head, perineum, feeling our energy line, perhaps if you want to expand a little further beyond, above and below, grounding. So that's a form of grounding, presence in our core and grounding. Then for coherence, this is already an exercise for coherence. Coherent breathing is another one. If you're feeling that you're anxious and stressed, equal amounts in and out, equal amounts of time. So let's say 4 counts out, 4 counts in, without pausing in between breaths and focusing on the heart chakra. That's beautiful, coherent breathing that helps bring us to a more coherent place. Another one, what I just shared, bring a smile to your eyes. Might not be easy, so you might just start by bringing a smile to your lips, and from your lips, smile up to your eyes, so you can feel your eyes start to smile as well. Beautiful and powerful way to help our nervous system come into more of a centered and coherent state. Then if we're feeling depleted, which most of us to a degree or another are, breath. Breath is one of the most cost-effective, I'll continue to use that expression, ways to actually increase our energy, and the eyes smiling and the embodiment of appreciation, like I shared in last week's video. Emotion, using emotion as well to bring up our energy. That's probably the second most cost-efficient way to both increase our energy level and be in that outward radiating mode. So practicing core line, practicing breathing exercises, practicing being in tune with our core, eyes smiling, practicing the embodiment of the feeling states that feel radiating. So if you're entering a situation where you know that you'll be engaging with either people or a specific circumstance that feels taxing to you, you entering in a state of presence and compassion or kindness or lovingness or something that you feel that's an expansive, radiating out state, will be the greatest protection that you can have, because you're in a radiating state, you're not in a taking in state. There is still information be exchanged, but for the most part you're like a sun, you're radiating energy out. So you will be much more present, much more of a powerful influence, coherent influence in the situation that you are in, and you will feel it within yourself, that you are centered, that you are safe, that you are coherent, that you are able to hold your presence throughout the interaction. And it might not happen the first time. It's a practice that we have to keep on doing. As I said, it's a lesson that I keep paying for, because I need to be reminded of it and do it time and again. But it is a really, really important one. And if for any reason you already feel that, okay, I'm out, I'm already gone, maybe you can bring your hands to your heart, or if you're in a public space, maybe not. You can keep your hands where they are, but bring your awareness again to the core line. To the core line, and start feeling your energy around you. So it might be that your energy just contracted to here. Start feeling your energy around you, like as if you have an atmosphere around you. Start sensing into that space, to that atmosphere, and start sensing that atmosphere start to expand as you start to feel more loving towards yourself first, more loving, compassionate, and you start perhaps even bringing a very light smile to your eyes or to your lips, or an internal smile. It doesn't need to show outside. And you start to feel your energy start moving from that vacuum mode to more of a radiating out mode. Again, it's a practice. It's something that it's easier to practice when we're not in a challenging situation. So easier to practice by yourself first, easier to practice when you're thinking about writing something like an email that still feels a little bit challenging. You practice this first, and then you write the email. Then perhaps the next level would be watching a content video, or the news if you watch the news, or something that's more visual and auditory in terms of the media. So it engages more of our senses, tends to pull us out of our body more. But start practicing again, being present in our body, feeling our energy fields in that beautiful, loving, expansive mode. And then the Mac Daddy of them all is interactions with other people. When we can hold this level of presence, of centeredness, and radiating sphere of energy in interaction with other people, we're doing pretty good. And especially with people that we have habits of interaction that aren't as useful to us or them, that's when you know, okay, I'm doing really well with this. High five to yourself, congratulations, but keep on practicing, because it is a skill that gives us so much as we master it more and more. Safeguards our energy, helps us become a powerful force of influence, of good, of coherence in our environments, in our families, in our communities, and quite honestly, because nothing is disconnected, everything is interrelated and connected in our existence in this planet. It helps us be that powerful force of coherence, centeredness, balance in the world. So that's what I wanted to share today. I went for a lot longer than I was expecting, so if you're here still listening, I appreciate you very much. To let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything specific that you'd like to have addressed in these types of conversations about different things that we might experience as it relates to energy and how to navigate them. And yeah, I'll be sharing the things that I'm exploring, that I'm experiencing, that I'm practicing, that I'm playing with, the hits as well as the high fives, all of it. And I hope to see you here in the next video as well. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.